You reach into the cooler at the gas station. Your hand moves without thinking. Grab the familiar bottle, twist the cap, drink. It's automatic now. Water in plastic. Clean, convenient, safe. That's what the label promises. Crystal Mountain Springs. Glacier-fed purity. Natural refreshment captured at the source. But what if that bottle in your hand right now came from the same municipal tap you're trying to avoid? What if the spring on the label is actually a warehouse in New Jersey? What if the plastic leaching into that water contains chemicals banned in baby products but perfectly legal in your daily hydration? This isn't about one recall or one contaminated batch. This is about an entire industry built on the illusion of purity while selling you something potentially worse than what comes out of your kitchen faucet. The trusted WN never question. Americans buy more bottled water than any other beverage. Not soda anymore, not juice, water. We spend over $18 billion a year on it. We carry it to yoga class, pack it in school lunches, stock it for emergencies. It feels responsible, health conscious, smart. The bottles promise everything we want to believe. Photographs of misty mountains, words like pure and natural and pristine. The marketing works because it taps into something primal. We know water keeps us alive. We know pollution is everywhere. So when a company offers us water from protected sources in a sealed container, we trust it completely. That trust is expensive. The average American family of four spends about $1,500 per year on bottled water for something that costs the companies producing it less than a penny per gallon. We're paying thousands of times more than tap water costs, convinced we're buying safety. But here's what the labels don't tell you. FDA regulations for bottled water are actually weaker than EPA regulations for tap water. Municipal water systems must test for contaminants multiple times per day and publish results publicly. Bottled water companies test far less frequently and aren't required to disclose anything to consumers. So that premium you're paying isn't backed by stricter standards. Often it's backed by less oversight than the tap you're avoiding. Aquafina and Dasani, the tap water decurban. Let's start with the two biggest names. Aquafina, owned by PepsiCo, Dasani, owned by Coca-Cola. Together, they control nearly 25% of the entire bottled water market. Billions of bottles per year. Look at an Aquafina bottle. Notice anything missing? No mountain, no spring, no natural source imagery at all anymore. There's a reason for that. In 2007, corporate accountability groups started asking PepsiCo a simple question. Where does Aquafina water actually come from? The answer was uncomfortable. It comes from public water supplies, tap water, the same water flowing through municipal pipes in cities across America. PepsiCo takes that tap water, runs it through their purification process, and sells it back to you at a 4,000% markup. After sustained pressure, PepsiCo quietly changed their labels to include purified drinking water and public water source in small letters. Most people never noticed. The bottles still sat in the same coolers. The price stayed the same. Dasani's story is identical. Coca-Cola sources from municipal water supplies, processes it, and bottles it. They got caught in the UK in 2004 when a batch tested positive for bromate, a cancer-linked chemical that formed during their purification process. The entire UK product line was recalled. Coca-Cola pulled Dasani from the UK market entirely and never brought it back. But in America, Dasani is everywhere. Same sourcing, same process, same company. Here's what makes it worse. Both brands add minerals back into the water after purification. Sounds good, right? Except those minerals aren't for your health. They're for taste. Magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, salt. You're not drinking pure water. You're drinking water with additives. Water that started as tap water got stripped of everything, then had chemicals added back. The bottles themselves present another problem. Both use standard PET plastic. PET degrades with heat. Leave a bottle in your car on a summer day and the plastic begins breaking down. Antimony, a toxic metalloid used in pet production, leaches into the water. Studies have measured antimony levels in bottled water stored in warm conditions exceeding EPA guidelines. Think about the supply chain. These bottles sit in trucks, warehouses, loading docks, gas station storage rooms. How many spend weeks in heat before you bought them? The expiration date on the bottle isn't about the water going bad. It's about the plastic degrading. So what are you actually buying? Municipal tap water that's been purified, mineralized with additives, packaged in plastic that may be leaching antimony, marked up thousands of percent. You could have gotten better quality water from your kitchen faucet for free. If Aquafina and Dasani are about deceptive sourcing, Nestle's brands represent something darker. Systematic exploitation combined with equally deceptive labeling. Nestle owns more water brands than any other company. Pure Life, Poland Spring, Arrowhead, Deer Park, Ice Mountain. Regional brands covering nearly every market. Walk into any grocery store and at least a third of the water aisle belongs to Nestle. Pure Life comes from municipal sources. Tap water, just like Aquafina and Dasani. Nestle takes city water, purifies it, adds minerals back, bottles it, and charges premium prices. But the real issues emerge with their spring water brands. Poland Spring bills itself as authentic spring water from Maine. The label shows pristine forests, 100% natural spring water in large text. The website describes springs in the woods and crisp, refreshing taste that comes naturally from Maine. In 2017, a class action lawsuit challenged every claim. Plaintiffs argued Poland Spring wasn't spring water at all. According to hydrogeologists who testified, several Poland Spring sources are actually surface water collection systems, not natural springs. Water flowing over ground through constructed wells extracted via pumps. The difference matters. True spring water flows naturally to the surface from underground aquifers, filtered through rock layers over years. Surface water lacks that geological filtration. It's more vulnerable to contamination. Nestle's defense was technical. Their sources meet the FDA's legal definition of spring water, which is surprisingly loose. The case was dismissed on technicalities, but it revealed something important. The legal definition of spring water and the common understanding are completely different. Arrowhead faced even more serious challenges. In 2015, an investigation revealed that Nestle had been extracting water from California's San Bernardino National Forest using a permit that expired in 1988. 27 years of extraction without a valid permit during a historic drought from a forest stream. Nestle was taking about 32 million gallons per year. During severe drought, when California residents faced mandatory water restrictions, Nestle continued extracting millions of gallons to bottle as Arrowhead. Nestle's response emphasized their legal right to the water. They held an 865-era claim, grandfathered in under California water law. The argument was technically true, but morally hollow. A multinational corporation citing 150-year-old mining era claims to extract water during a drought while residents cut back. Testing added more concerns. Multiple investigations found some Nestle water sources contaminated with arsenic at levels just below EPA limits, just barely under the legal threshold. For a product marketed as pure and natural, barely legal levels of arsenic doesn't inspire confidence. Many Pure Life bottles are notably thin and flimsy compared to competitors. The plastic saves Nestle money, but also means the bottles are more prone to degradation and chemical leaching. The next evolution in bottled water marketing came with a scientific-sounding claim: alkalinity. Brands like Essentia, Core Hydration, and Smart Water built identities around pH levels above 7, promising better hydration, improved energy, health benefits. Essentia calls itself ionized alkaline water with a pH of 9.5 or higher. The bottles look medical, clinical. Core Hydration emphasizes perfect pH balance. Smart Water includes electrolytes for taste and vapor distillation. Here's the truth. Your body regulates pH automatically. Your blood stays between 735 and 745, regardless of what you drink. If it didn't, you'd be dead. Your kidneys and lungs maintain this balance constantly. Drinking water with higher pH doesn't make your blood more alkaline. It doesn't improve hydration. It doesn't boost energy. The few studies showing any benefit from alkaline water are typically funded by the companies selling it. Independent research finds no advantage over regular water. The American Institute for Cancer Research states clearly claims that drinking alkaline water will cure or prevent cancer are false. But the science doesn't matter when the marketing is this good. Essentia positions itself as premium water for athletes and health-conscious consumers. The price is significantly higher, sometimes double or triple. You're paying for ionization and pH adjustment that your body immediately neutralizes. The sourcing tells the same story. Essentia and Core both start with municipal water sources. Tap water, they purify it, adjust the pH, add electrolytes, and bottle it. Smart Water does the same through vapor distillation. The water comes from the same municipal supplies as cheaper brands, and the plastic bottles remain identical. Same PET, same leaching concerns, same heat sensitivity. The electrolytes are another marketing trick. Electrolyte enhanced sounds athletic and scientific, but the amounts are minuscule. A single banana contains more potassium than an entire bottle of Smart Water. The electrolytes are there for taste and marketing, not nutrition. Core claims balanced pH helps your body absorb nutrients. There's no scientific mechanism for this. It's pseudoscience wrapped in wellness language, targeting consumers who trust that science sounding equals scientifically proven. At the top of the price pyramid sit the luxury brands, Fiji, Voss, Evian. These aren't marketed as mere hydration. They're lifestyle products, status symbols. You see them at fashion shows, celebrity events, high-end restaurants. They cost up to 10 times more than standard bottled water. Fiji built its brand on origin story. Untouched by man, water from a remote artesian aquifer in Fiji filtered through volcanic rock. The square bottle became iconic. The marketing emphasized paradise and purity. Then journalists investigated. In 2006, researchers calculated the carbon footprint of shipping Fiji water from the South Pacific to America. Each bottle traveled over 5,000 miles. Environmentalists began calling Fiji the most environmentally destructive product in existence. Then came the arsenic revelation. In 2006, Fiji ran a campaign mocking Cleveland tap water, claiming Fiji was pure. Cleveland officials tested Fiji water. The results: Fiji contained 3 micrograms per liter of arsenic. Cleveland tap water contained none. Fiji immediately pulled the campaign. The arsenic levels weren't illegal, they were below EPA limits. But they revealed something crucial. Natural doesn't mean pure. Water filtered through volcanic rock can pick up minerals, including arsenic, from the geology, and the local impact is troubling. The bottling plant uses significant resources on an island where many communities lack reliable, clean water. Fiji Water, owned by American billionaires, extracts millions of liters while local Fijians sometimes struggle with water infrastructure. Voss takes a different approach. Norwegian water packaged in bottles designed by a luxury fashion agency. Testing has shown Voss is essentially mineral-free. Clean water, yes, but no different in composition from properly filtered tap water. You're paying for the bottle and the brand. Voss appears in fashion magazines, celebrity social media. The marketing never discusses what's in the water because there's nothing special to discuss. It's about the aesthetic. The water itself is secondary. Evian comes from the French Alps, natural spring water with heritage dating back centuries. But tests have repeatedly shown Evian contains nitrates from agricultural runoff in the Alps region. The pristine alpine source exists near modern farming operations. The prices tell you everything. Fiji costs around $3 to $3 per liter. Voss can reach $5 to $8. Evian runs $1, $50 to $2 per liter. Compare that to tap water at roughly $0.01. $0.01 per liter. You're paying several thousand times more for water that's not demonstrably safer or purer. And even luxury water comes in plastic. Fiji and Evian use PET bottles for most products. Same leaching concerns, same heat sensitivity. The premium price doesn't protect you from chemistry. Understanding why this is legal requires understanding how bottled water is regulated, or more accurately, how it isn't. Tap water falls under EPA jurisdiction. The Safe Drinking Water Act requires municipal systems to test for over 90 contaminants regularly, publish annual quality reports, and notify consumers immediately of violations. Cities must test multiple times per day for bacteria. Bottled water falls under FDA jurisdiction. The FDA classifies it as a food product, not drinking water. This creates enormous loopholes. The FDA requires bottled water companies to test their sources weekly for bacteria and annually for chemical contaminants. Tap water, daily bacteria testing. The FDA also doesn't require bottled water companies to disclose test results to consumers. Tap water quality reports are public documents. Bottled water quality data remains proprietary. If a company finds contamination below actionable levels, they don't have to tell anyone. Enforcement is even weaker. The FDA oversees bottled water alongside thousands of other food products with limited inspectors. Many bottled water plants go years between inspections. When violations occur, penalties are minor fines that corporations absorb as cost of business. The result is a regulatory inversion. The product you pay a premium for is actually subject to less testing, less oversight, and less transparency than the water coming from your tap. Strip away the marketing. What's really in these bottles? For most brands, it's processed municipal water, water from the same sources as tap water, purified to remove everything, then minerals added back for taste. You're paying enormous markups for water that started ordinary and ended ordinary. For brands claiming spring or artesian sources, the water often comes from areas near agricultural or industrial operations. Natural doesn't mean pristine. Springs can be contaminated by surface runoff. The geology filters some contaminants while concentrating others like arsenic naturally present in rock. All of it sits in plastic. PET bottles contain antimony and sometimes BPA-like compounds. When exposed to heat and UV light, these chemicals leach into the water. Studies have found microplastic particles in most tested bottled water brands. You're not just drinking water, you're drinking the container. The environmental cost is staggering. Americans use roughly 50 billion plastic water bottles per year. Recycling rates hover around 23%. The rest end up in landfills or oceans, and the expense adds up. A family of four spending $30 per week on bottled water spends $1,560 per year. Over a decade, that's over $15,000. For a product that provides no meaningful advantage over tap water, costing a fraction of a cent per gallon. Not all bottled water is deceptive. Some brands deliver what they promise. Mountain Valley Spring Water operating since 1871 from a single source in Arkansas. True spring water from the Ouachita Mountains, naturally filtered through geological layers. Mountain Valley publishes complete test results on their website. The bottles are glass. Glass doesn't leach chemicals. It doesn't degrade in heat. The water tastes clean because there's no plastic interaction. The downside is weight and price, but you're getting actual purity. Eternal water sourced from naturally alkaline springs in the Smoky Mountains. Unlike brands that artificially raise pH, Eternal emerges from the ground already alkaline. The pH of 7, 8 to 8. 2 is natural, not engineered. Eternal tests every batch and publishes results quarterly. Heavy metals, bacteria, chemical contaminants, all documented. The transparency matches what tap water systems provide. The bottles are BPA-free plastic. Steel plastic, still vulnerable to heat, but Eternal provides storage guidance. Just water founded by Jaden Smith with an environmental mission. The water comes from Glens Falls, New York, sourced from municipal supply but processed through advanced filtration and bottled in paper-based containers lined with plant-based materials. The sourcing is honest. Just water doesn't pretend to be spring water. The paper bottles are 822% plant-based materials. The caps are made from sugarcane-based plastic. Just Water funds water projects in developing communities and advocates for water access as a human right. A portion of profits goes to clean water initiatives. You don't need to panic, but you do need to see clearly what you've been buying. Most bottled water is tap water that's been processed, packaged in plastic that leaches chemicals, marked up thousands of percent, and sold with marketing that implies something far more pure than reality delivers. The regulations protecting bottled water are weaker than those protecting tap water. The brands betting on your trust without earning it are Aquafina and Dasani for municipal water at luxury prices. Nestle brands like Pure Life, Poland Spring, and Arrowhead for questionable sourcing. Alkaline waters like Essentia, Core, and Smart Water for pseudoscience marketing. Luxury brands like Fiji, Voss, and Evian for status symbols with arsenic and nitrates. The few brands worth considering are Mountain Valley, Eternal, and Just Water. They test rigorously, source honestly, and don't hide behind marketing. But here's what most people miss. For the vast majority of Americans, tap water is safer, cleaner, more regulated, and essentially free. If your local water quality concerns you, a home filter costs less than 2 months of bottled water purchases. The bottled water industry is worth $18 billion because they convinced us the water we already had wasn't good enough. They sold us purity that doesn't exist and safety that isn't proven. You don't have to keep buying it. That's the clarity. That's the power.